Always kept it straight. This is not for y'all. This is not for the money. This is for me. Why y'all thinking that I'm just doing it for the money? I believe that I can win.
Terence Crawford has finally answered Errol Spence's call for a rematch of their 2023 undisputed bout. Now the biggest name in boxing, Crawford finds Spence looking to capitalize on his fame by pushing for a rematch at super middleweight.
A lot of stuff. But, you know, my main objective was to make the fight happen by any means, even though, you know, my people wanted to, after a while, they wanted to walk away from the fight, cause, you know, out of just all that, you know, outrageous demands. And then when you meet his demands and he moves the goalposts.
Yeah, nah, he's nice as hell, but you know, I'm at the point of my career, the money right, I'll fight anybody, so.
Interestingly, Crawford isn't dismissing the idea. In an interview yesterday, the new undisputed super middleweight champion responded positively to Spence's call-out, saying, "If he can move up to 168, I'm in. I don't mind taking him on. I've still got a few fights left for sure."
Like I said before, you know, that's my obligation in the contract, and I gotta honor that. If you know, that's the next move for me in my career.
But that burning desire not to lose, where does that come from, that competitive spirit?
And it's just something in all the greats. You know, if you look at all the greats in any sport, they always was hungry to be the best. You know, they wanted to prove that they was the best. They wanted to show the world and show everybody.
Errol Spence Jr. wants the rematch at super middleweight because he believes his long layoff has allowed him to bulk up significantly. Now bigger and stronger, he feels ready to face Terence Crawford again. "I want Crawford next at 168. That's the fight I want. We have a contract, and it's still valid," Spence declared.
You know, without him, you know, really wanting to fight and putting forth the effort into doing what he can do along with me to get this fight done, we wouldn't be fighting. So it's only right that I give him that same, you know,
It's an ideal rematch setup, as Terence Crawford now holds the undisputed super middleweight titles following his victory over Canelo Alvarez on September 13th. That win became the biggest of his career, surpassing his triumph over Errol Spence Jr. 2 years earlier, giving Spence all the motivation he needs to seek redemption.
You know, he said the Jose Benavidez fight was probably the toughest fight of his career. And I think you said back in the day you had your way with him in sparring. Is there anything to take away from that, or that you take away from it?
No, not at all. I mean, it was a good fight. We fought a one-leg Jose Benavidez, and it was the toughest fight of his career. That says a lot.
What does it say?
Interestingly, after their rematch was cancelled last year, talks reportedly resumed a few months later. Crawford even mentioned in interviews that he was open to facing Errol Spence again. At the time, a rematch with Spence seemed more likely than a fight with Canelo Alvarez, until Crawford changed course. This sudden shift prompted Spence's recent social media call-out. However, many boxing fans believe their first fight was too one-sided to warrant a rematch, suggesting Spence's push is more about chasing another big payday than redemption.
I'm walking over my feet. You know, I want to get out the game. I got kids, got a mom and dad, and, you know, they want to enjoy me, so.
Harold just needs the money. There's no way anyone would willingly step back into the ring with the man who nearly destroyed them when it was a 50-50 fight. Now it's a 90-10 matchup, and he thinks he stands a chance? After being dominated 2 years ago, he wants to walk right back into another beating. Fans didn't hold back either. Many brutally trolled him online, warning him to stay far away from Terence Crawford. Some even joked that unless he's ready for something worse than his infamous car crash, he shouldn't dare step in the ring again. Bro looks like he's asking for another crash, this time from a punch, and maybe another cataract surgery. This isn't the way to go out, man. Just take a tune-up fight and rebuild. You've got talent, no doubt, but Terence Crawford isn't someone to experiment with right now. Fans suggested safer options like Fundora, Thurman, or Tim. One even pointed out that Errol hasn't learned from Tim Tszyo's mistake, fighting Fundora right after a brutal war with a wounded head, which led to his first loss. Instead of resting, he rushed back into another tough fight and paid for it. For Spence, it could be even worse. Against Crawford, fans believe he wouldn't just lose, he might not make it out the same.
It was exciting, the whole build up to it and leading up to it too. So it's something that I wouldn't change for nothing, and I'm definitely open to the rematch, and hopefully it'll be at 154 pounds.
I can retire right now and be in the Hall of Fame. He couldn't. You know, like everything that I've accomplished, he's still trying to accomplish. You know,
Do you not think Spence will be in the Hall of Fame?
right now, no, how?
Yeah, he's
And
right, dude. He's right.
How? You know,
You would-
like he fought in one division. You know,
Never unified the belts.
He
Another fan suggested Spence should consider leaving PBC, arguing the promotion is no longer the ideal home for top boxing talent. They pointed out that many of Spence's potential fights have fallen apart during contract talks. Leave PBC, bro, get out of there. It's not what it used to be. Team up with Turkey and get some real fights. But stay away from Crawford, that beast will tear you apart, one commenter warned. Another added, I remember Crawford mentioning this fight around the time he faced Madrimov. Maybe he shouldn't have raised Spence's hopes and just ignored him altogether.
Was it?
he had three. He had the
But he didn't
WBC,
unify all four. He
WBA,
wasn't
IBF.
undisputed.
Huh?
He
No,
wasn't
no,
undisputed.
he wasn't. No, but what I'm saying is, they already called him a weight bully, right? He beat Kell Brook coming off of a loss, an eye injury. You know, he beat Sean Porter.
In all fairness, he had to go over there to get that.
Like I said,
I mean, it could happen. I mean, why not? If Crawford wanna challenge himself to be great, let him try to be great. You know, so you know what I'm saying, I'm with it. So you know, I'll be going for Bud.
With a rematch clause in their original contract, Crawford believes there's still unfinished business with Spence. Having dominated their first encounter, Crawford would enter any rematch as the clear favorite. The main question now is whether Spence will look like a different fighter at 154 pounds. Both men struggled with the weight cut at this point in their careers, but Spence appeared to suffer the most, both during the weigh-in and throughout the fight itself.
you know what I mean? That's a good win. Like, I don't want to sound like I'm hating on him or, you know,
I understand
things
what you're
like
saying.
that, but
Right.
I honestly don't know if he make it to the Hall of Fame with the accolade.
After Crawford's stoppage victory over Spence in 2023 under a PBC deal, a contractual rematch was reportedly in the works. However, months went by without any official announcement. According to Coppinger, Spence underwent cataract surgery a few months after the fight, which ultimately caused the rematch clause to expire. As a result, Crawford became free to pursue any fight he wanted, without ties to a promoter or network. He began pushing for a showdown with Canelo Alvarez, but Canelo wasn't too keen, believing there was little benefit for him in taking that matchup.
I would never want to fight him coming off an accident like that. Because when I beat him,
Right.
then y'all gonna say it was because of the accident.
Right.
He fight. He beat Danny Garcia. I was in the crowd. I said, nah, he can't be. That's the first time I seen Spence fight live. I said,
So you knew then when you seen that?
I'm like, yeah, because you know it's different on TV than when you watching it.
Former unified welterweight champion Errol Spence Jr. now finds himself in boxing limbo. Though he hasn't officially announced retirement, there's no sign of a return either. After nearly 2 years out of the ring, fans are beginning to doubt if they'll ever see him fight again. Not long ago, Spence was viewed as one of boxing's elite, an undefeated champion with knockout power and star appeal. But everything changed after he met Terence Crawford. What was once seen as a 50-50 matchup quickly turned into a one-sided beating the moment the opening bell rang in their welterweight title unification bout.
If you fight Canelo, I'll be going for him. I mean, I don't know if he gonna win or lose, but I definitely be going for Crawford. I think if anybody can pull it off, he can pull it off.
Yeah. You know,
He's chasing greatness, so why not?
'Cause it's-
Canelo came up to 175 and all that, and fought Kovalev and fought the other guy too. So I mean, if he can do it, and he started at 147. So
Terence Crawford delivered a stunning beatdown of Errol Spence in their long-awaited unification bout, becoming the first undisputed welterweight champion in nearly 4 decades and cementing his status as the best fighter in the world, pound for pound. Crawford dropped Spence once in the second round and twice more in the 7th before referee Harvey Dock stopped the fight at 2:32 of round 9. In truth, no one in the sold-out crowd of 19,990 at T-Mobile Arena would have complained had the referee ended it even earlier.
Fish fry come Saturday. Man, you gotta calm down, brother. Cause listen, man, things can get real sticky real quick, and then everybody would say, this is what we do every time we come out. This is what we do when we come out. Social media,
The long-awaited clash between two undefeated American stars, more than 5 years in the making, was billed as the best fight boxing could offer. Yet after an even first round, it quickly turned into a showcase of Crawford's generational brilliance. The 35-year-old from Nebraska delivered a masterclass in power, precision, and ring IQ, making an elite opponent look ordinary. A former champion at 135 and 140 pounds, Crawford, who entered the bout as a slight favorite, became the first fighter to unify all recognized welterweight titles since 1986, when Lloyd Honeyghan shocked Donald Curry at Caesars Atlantic City to claim the WBA, WBC, and IBF belts in one of British boxing's greatest upsets.
Confidence to come out there and just be like, okay, well, even the skills to say, all right, let me see how you gonna take a punch to the chin. Let me see how you gonna take a punch to the body. Let me see how you gonna react when you can't bully somebody around.
Good, I just hit the ball.
Okay. So my mind was, it was racing a little bit. And I was like, man, how should I come out?
Clearly proving himself the superior fighter, Crawford dominated Spence in a one-sided assault until the referee ended it in the 9th round. Following the victory, Crawford briefly reigned as the undisputed welterweight champion before moving up to junior middleweight. Now, all signs point toward a potential super fight with Canelo Alvarez, an unusual yet highly anticipated matchup. Meanwhile, Spence, the popular Texan, hasn't stepped into the ring since that devastating 2023 loss. At this point, the question isn't when he'll return, but whether he ever will.
Listen, just like you talking, just like you doing all that talking, bro, it can turn deadly real quick. But on both sides, so why not support? Listen. Why not support your fighter? Support your fighter.
It's been nearly 2 years now, and Spence is 35, not old by modern standards, but certainly no longer in his prime. The truth is, a comeback would still draw huge attention and a big payday. There are notable names out there, like Keith Thurman and Tim Tszyu, that could make for major fights. But for any of that to happen, Spence must first make an official return, likely starting with a tune-up bout. And if he ultimately chooses to retire instead, that decision shouldn't be met with criticism.
Along my career, I've been criticized and people have taken credit away from me just to try to diminish my accomplishments just off of pure hate. So what would they be able to say with me going up 2 weight classes?
And people say, oh, well, maybe it was the weight or whatever the case is. What do you think about that? Like, talking about the weight at 154?
I wasn't worried about that. I felt stronger than him. I felt that I punched harder than him. I felt as if I hurt him.
Boxing is a brutal and unforgiving sport, and Spence endured a vicious beating at the hands of Crawford. Battles with opponents like Kell Brook likely added to the wear and tear, not to mention the horrific car accident that nearly cost him his life. All things considered, Spence's career has been both successful and filled with hardship. Still, a return remains possible. He's a fighter at heart, and fighters fight. If his physical condition allows, it would be great to see him make a comeback.
I just felt like, he came prepared and he was ready and he fought a good fight. He was awkward, he was patient, he was determined, he stuck to his game plan, and he did what he had to do.
Errol Spence recently admitted on social media that the biggest mistake of his athletic career was drinking. His post also caught the attention of Gervonta Davis, who faces Lamont Roach tonight. "The worst thing I did to myself was drinking," Spence wrote. "If you're an athlete, focus on the end goal. Hopefully, it's a better situation for you and your loved ones." Despite his loss to Crawford, Spence's career remains impressive. However, his last outing fueled criticism, with some fans claiming he's no longer the same fighter. Spence quickly fired back on X, formerly Twitter, writing, "Some of y'all use he washed too loosely. Post y'all mama so you can see what washed really is."
A lot of people say, oh, well, he's money hungry, he's looking at money and he's trying to cash out and this and that. I've been getting money for years. I've been getting millions for years. And I'm not stupid with my money. As you can see, I don't buy no Ferrari, Lamborghini, and, you know what I mean, walk around with 100 people around me and got all this jewelry on.
Before his loss to Terence Crawford, Errol Spence Jr. was the unified welterweight champion, holding the WBA, WBC, and IBF titles from 2017 to 2023. Though he hasn't fought in nearly 2 years, the 34-year-old is still expected to attract a big-name opponent upon his return. Meanwhile, two-division undisputed champion Terence Crawford has stirred some controversy with his recent comments about his former rival. The two faced off in 2023, where Crawford handed Spence a dominant, one-sided defeat. Since then, Spence has yet to return to the ring, despite having the option to invoke a rematch clause, which he ultimately chose not to pursue.
He got caught. Boxing a little more, but things happen. You gotta learn from it.
More recently, Spence was in talks to face WBC and WBO super welterweight champion Sebastian Fundora, but the bout fell through after multiple delays. This only fueled speculation that Spence might never return to the ring. Meanwhile, Crawford's career has soared to new heights. The Nebraskan is now set to face Canelo Alvarez in September later this year. "I can retire right now and be in the Hall of Fame." He couldn't, Crawford said during a podcast. "Everything I've accomplished, he's still trying to accomplish."
He's setting traps, has crazy power that he believes in, he has a great chin too, because he's a guy, he'll let you get out punch.
Further explaining his point, Crawford said, he fought in one division and unified 3 belts. They already called him a weight bully, right? He beat Kell Brook coming off a loss. While Crawford acknowledged Spence's win over Sean Porter, he didn't see it as Hall of Fame material. "That's a good win. I'm not trying to hate on him or anything, but I honestly don't know if he'll make it to the Hall of Fame with what he's accomplished so far," Crawford added. Although Crawford's remarks had some merit, many fans and analysts disagreed. Among them was veteran trainer Kevin Cunningham, who wrote, "In my opinion, Errol Spence Jr. has done enough to eventually get into the Hall of Fame, Olympian, 3-time world champion at welterweight, and top 4 pound-for-pound fighter." That same view was shared by Erickson Lubin as well.
Tank in the game. Basically, I like Tank who's gonna keep coming, and if you feel like you don't have no power, he'll keep coming to show you that you ain't got no power, and then what you see.
While Terence Crawford's popularity has surged following his win over Canelo, his resume was already among the most decorated in boxing. He's captured titles in 5 different weight classes and became undisputed in 2 of them, an achievement few fighters in history can match. Time and again, critics have questioned his ability to conquer each new challenge, and every time, Crawford has proven them wrong. If he and Spence meet again at super middleweight, Crawford would enter as the clear favorite. That's all for now. For the latest updates, moments, and stories from the world of boxing, stay tuned and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss out on our quality content. Until next time, peace out.